Oops. There we go. I think.
Are we on?
I don't know. It says live.
It says no audio too.
What?
Yeah, there's a little no audio sign next to. There you go.
But I don't see any video going.
Uh-oh. Wait.
Oh, there it is. Wait, what?
Oh, if it's lagging a bit. Excellent connection.
Okay.
I'm just realizing someone could just drop in and talk and see us and we'd be like goofing off like that. Anyway.
All right. Welcome. This is like our first major one. We tried to do one at the Indiana Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But it wasn't any audio and it didn't have really much going for it.
No, not really. But
So-
that con was like that for us anyway.
Yeah. So we just got back from the Missouri, what do you call that?
Homeschool conference.
Homeschool conference.
Great homeschool conventions, right?
Yeah. And that one was a ton of fun. So, yeah, we're going to kind of go over a few different things. I don't know if there's going to be anybody watching today on this.
Probably not.
But it will be on our YouTube
more like
channel.
A test run. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I am going to say hello in the chat and welcome. I want to make sure I spelled that right. It's a little ways away. Welcome. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat.
You might want to say something about keeping it clean because we are more of a family-friendly audience.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, anybody who comes to our channel kind of already knows that.
True.
I don't know. We'll handle that as it comes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm actually going to grab our dictionary here, and we have a kind of a joke, joke thing to talk about that we wanted to do, which was take the date and then find a area in the dictionary and kind of just talk about a word.
How old is that dictionary?
I believe it's from the 60s or the 80s.
Because it was Mom's dictionary before we got a hold of it.
Yes.
We grew up with that.
1982, 1985.
We grew
By
up with that
Houghton
dictionary.
Mifflin Company. Not Dunder Mifflin, Houghton.
Houghton Mifflin?
Houghton Mifflin. Anyways, so we're going to find an entry, and it's not 4 yet, it's 3, so...
Yeah, 3/31, last day of the month. After today, March has declared it will call it quits and allow April to take its position. So
we're going to find 3/31. And obviously the entire time Kelsey's going to just kind of be doing some drawing over there, so
I am.
if anybody joins in and they have any questions about that.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so 3/31, and then we're going to count to the 25th entry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
But first, coffee.
There's like 3 or 4 different counters. Should I count that all as one?
Wait, counters?
4. Yeah.
Well, I think we got time. You could probably read them all.
7, 8, 9, 15.
So our
16,
word of the day is counters? No.
21, 22, 23, 25. Okay, so I there's like 4 different counters. And so I made them all one. And so I just made that one, and then I went to the next one.
Okay.
So Counterirritant.
Counterirritant.
An agent that induces local irritation to counteract general or deep irritation. So wait, what? An agent that induces local irritation to counteract general or deep irritation.
How would you use that in a sentence? Wait, what's the demonstration sentence that they give you for it?
They don't, not in this.
What? They're just like, we're gonna throw this word at you, but
Counter-irritation. Okay, so
put that in the chat. Put that in the chat. How would you use the term or the word counter? Oh, it's all one word too.
Yeah.
Counter-irritation.
Is it sentence or sentence?
With an E.
Okay, I had it right.
Yep.
I'm gonna use Kelsey's phone because my phone is doing the drawing right now.
Yep.
And we're gonna.
It's the sword over my head right now.
The sword.
The sword.
I'm gonna look up counter-irritation in Webster and see what the heck.
It's funny, we don't normally have to do that.
No, we don't. But I was just counter-irritation. Or was it counter-irritant? I mean, I think it was counter-irritant, but still.
Mm-hmm.
Counter-irritation. The reaction produced by treatment with a counter-irritant. Okay. An agent applied locally to produce superficial inflammation with the object of reduced inflammation in deeper adject structures. Wait, what?
Wait, is this like omega 3s?
I have no idea.
That's probably not how you're supposed to use omega 3s, but
I have no idea. Counter-irritant. Do we have a sentence? In the meaning defined in sense 1. Oh, there's multiple senses. An irritation or discomfort that diverts attention from another. Okay, that makes it a little bit more.
It's sort of like those jokes and shows where they like pulling the sliver out and then they'll like pinch somebody or pull hair or something like that in order to.
In order to what?
Have you ever seen it where it's like someone's like really worried about how much pulling a splinter out is going to be?
Oh, so they'll like punch somebody
or
pinch
them or punch them or something like that. It's a gag.
I gotcha.
The counter.
That makes sense. Just to see.
Counter irritation. How is March 31st a counter irritation? Is it like to make you forget how far you are in the year? Like,
I mean, I think you could argue that.
I'm a quarter through the year. Well, it's not April yet.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Well, it's not April.
It's not April.
That's funny. That is interesting. Counter-irritant.
I know, right?
Ah, man, that is a word that I never thought would be a thing.
I'm still wondering if it's cod liver. Well, not cod liver. Apparently, that's not the
like
best
omega
form of
3s.
Omega 3, yeah, but omega 3s and stuff. Man, we're in our channel talking about omega 3s.
I mean, that was kind of the whole thing, is to talk about something interesting with it.
True. It is kind of interesting.
Okay.
Put that as a story prompt. Write about a counter irritation.
There you go. There you go. Sorry, I was going to go on to X and say that we were...
Streaming?
Yes.
All 0 of you heard that first, right here.
All 0.
All 0. All 0.
I don't know. That's not necessarily true. There might be 1 or 2 people listening.
Maybe. No, not yet. But
I don't know. How do we know? Is it... Oh, okay. There's...
It'll tell you.
0 concurrent viewers.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. The point of this was more so for a test,
Practice.
and people can watch it in the future and laugh at us.
Being goofballs. Okay. You get the test run. We should be using Patreon. Then we can. You get charged for our tomfoolery.
There you go. Except we have nobody watching.
That's true. No, I was thinking because then they could get access to the live stream, post live stream, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. Architecture slowly comes together.
Can you change the name of the live stream in the middle of the live stream?
Can you? Why? What were you going to change it to?
Counterirritant.
Counterirritant. We are fully embracing this. Hey, so I guess we're going to be looking for counterirritant events in today's What Happened Today.
Well, there you go. That would be fun.
I wonder what the ratio is for how many times you need to try a live stream before you actually succeed at a live stream. I feel like I'm thinking way too much about this, but well, I'll pause and watch as he types out something.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You forgot to include that we're waiting for the coffee to kick in.
I'm not. I don't have coffee.
Yeah. I am the most decaffeinated person in this room right now.
Did that thing where you capitalize
On what?
the second letter.
Oh, okay. Because it is 2 words put together, so.
Yeah. How do you share the fact that you're doing the live stream, though? That's the question.
Oh, there's a link there.
Is this the stream URL?
Yeah, it looks like it. It says stream URL.
Although if I go here,
I'd almost be like text people we know more so than. All right, I'm working. I am. Okay.
let's just go to YouTube, go to our YouTube channel and see if I can get something going on here. Probably get really bad, really bad, what do you call it, service, but.
You're worrying me now.
Well, because I'm trying to like access the live stream.
Oh, I see.
There we go. Counterirritant.
Trying to see if you can click on it.
No, I'm going to turn the volume down just so we don't hear ourselves.
No. Did we delete the first one we tried to do?
No. Did we want to?
I don't know. I think so.
It's just video. It's not actually that bad.
Okay.
I was watching it earlier today.
One day we'll be supreme.
We'll see how this goes.
One day we'll learn how to actually use a ruler. There we go. That's what we want right there.
All right. I like how I wrote it in you because it's on your phone, like it was you, but it was really me.
Oh, did you now?
Well, and the problem is I can't use my phone, so I couldn't text somebody like Ethan and tell him that we were doing a live stream. I don't even know.
Maybe in future we should.
Well, yes, but with this one we were particularly trying to get everything all figured out.
Yeah, you're right. And here we are.
Yep.
Well.
You did move your canvas a little bit. You gotta go to the left just a smidge.
Wait, but shoot. Okay.
Okay, never mind. Don't do it. If you got a setup point, don't do it.
Kind of. Well, and this guy's being a little finicky. Can you not see what I'm doing?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
We can see it. And just there's a little gap on the left side.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think it sees all the way to the right.
Got it.
But that's okay. Okay. Oh, I need to use your phone and look at the different things that happened today.
Yeah.
Well, we knew that the Eiffel Tower got inaugurated.
It was opened, yeah. It It was opened today.
Which I wonder.
1889.
I wonder how that was.
Going to the Eiffel Tower the first time.
Yeah.
But I got a feeling someone on YouTube's probably talked about it. But
let's watch a YouTube while we make a live stream. No. What was it? Things Happen Today?
I believe so, yeah. Also found out that Commodore Perry, who was like one of the first international American admirals, I believe. No, he may not have been an admiral. But anyway, Commodore Perry went over to Japan, was one of the first contacts of the United States to Japan, and set up a treaty with them. So today was the day they signed the treaty.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Which, if you've ever seen like Japanese paintings of Commodore Perry, it's kind of interesting seeing the Japanese who have... They make him pretty ugly. It's kind of funny. But they're trying to depict him with, I think, living in a world where they're used to people with more of the Asian-shaped eyes and stuff like that, and he didn't.
Oh, so this is relevant, I think, to America at least.
It is, yeah.
Well, no, this portion.
What?
American Revolutionary War. The Kingdom of Great Britain orders the port of Boston, Massachusetts closed pursuant to the Boston Port Act. I'm wondering if that led to the...
What year was it?
1774.
So it wasn't 1776.
No, but I'm wondering if that led to the...
The Tea Party.
Tea Party. Because that was Boston. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
called the Boston Tea Party. So I wonder if that led to the Boston Tea Party.
It would not surprise me in the least.
Oh no! The Spanish Navy bombs the harbor of Valparaiso, Chile.
But for what purpose?
I'm not entirely sure. It just says that it bombs it in
what-
1866.
1866, okay.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower is officially opened in 1889.
Wow,
Yeah,
so
I
it was
didn't
2 years
realize it was
before.
like right before the 1900s.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I thought it was a little bit older than that. I thought it was like 1850s maybe.
I guess it's funny. I remember being into Around the World in 80 Days and being like, oh, they're going to France. They see the Eiffel Tower. And then I read it and I'm like, no, the Eiffel Tower wasn't in Paris at that time.
That's so funny.
And they're like trying to picture.
What era was that?
Well, 1889 was when the Eiffel Tower was open. So they might have been constructing it, depending on how long that took. 1872 was when, 1874 was when Around the World in 80 Days was published.
1884?
1874.
Oh, 1870. Wow, it wouldn't even be built by the time Jules Verne was alive.
No,
1889.
No, he might have been alive, but it was before that book came out. So.
It was after the book came out.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was
no,
after the
okay,
book.
that's what I meant more so though. Is that in the book there wouldn't even be
a notion really about it, right?
Yeah. Daylight saving times goes into effect in the United States for the first time in 1918. I don't know why. What else was going on in the 1918s? I guess it was just before the Roaring 20s. I wonder why.
It was World War One would have been, I think,
just
still
finished,
going.
right? I thought 1814 was the start, wasn't it? No.
Was it only 4 years long? Wow, we're going to show how bad we do not know history.
Well, I've always heard World War One is one of those wonky ones where it's really hard to know
when it starts and
when
when
it starts, when it ends.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Yeah. No, and it feels like we don't talk about it very much.
No, we don't. 1918. Yeah, it ended in 1918. Yeah, it only was 4 years long. 1914 to 1918.
The same year World War One ends, we decide to mess with time.
Yeah. Yep. A motion picture production code is instituted, imposing strict guidelines on the treatment of sex, crime, religion, and violence in film in the U.S. for the next 38 years. Yeah, that has to be the Hays Code.
It sounds like the Hays Code.
Because that was all the way into the 60s.
When did it get removed?
Well, it says 38 years, so that'd be 1968.
Wow, that was late into the 60s. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that is pretty late into the 60s.
There are people who still say those movies made in that era were some of the best. And it's weird because I do think there is a gift to restrictions sometimes.
Well, I mean, yeah, you had a lot of the Alfred Hitchcocks fell into that zone.
Oh, yeah.
And they were really good.
We still love those. Like,
yeah. And then you have, I think, a lot of Jimmy Stewart's movies probably fell into that code.
I think that's true. But he seemed more like...
Laura fell into that code.
I know.
And Laura was a good movie.
See, and that was where I wasn't sure about Netflix doing a remake. And I'm like, how can this I don't know if this can be as good as the movie was. But I guess the book had a little more scandal in it than...
Oh, and Netflix did a remake?
No, sorry. I was thinking it was... I'm sorry. Rebecca was the remake.
Oh, gotcha.
And that was a Hitchcock, which,
yes.
Honestly, atmospheric-wise, that movie is so crazy and so... Okay, older viewing, but it's a pretty intense movie, right?
Yeah.
Psychological thrillers.
Wow. This is interesting. In 1945, World War II, a defected German pilot delivers a particular type of jet-powered fighter aircraft. It's German, so it's like Messerschmitt Me-262A-1 to the Americans, the first to fall into Allied hands.
Wait, so what kind is it versus...
Well, it's a jet-powered fighter aircraft. So it's like a jet. Yeah, it's like a jet plane.
Oh, wow.
So that would have been like a really fast airplane at the time, especially. I don't know how fast they would be today, but...
I know Germany was like ahead on a lot of things. So there's a controversial move the United States made after World War II called Operation Paperclip, where they got a lot of Nazi scientists like kind of written off from like being tried and stuff for crimes and brought them in because a lot of these guys were crazy smart and there was a lot of experimentation going on.
Yeah.
Right? Which, on the one hand, like, okay, for science, that sounds great. But morally, I'm thinking, these are the same guys who are, like, doing experiments on mentally handicapped people and stuff like that. I don't feel right about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So...
Yeah. So this one's interesting. Explorer 1 re-enters the Earth's atmosphere after 12 years in orbit.
I thought that was interesting. So that's a American satellite that's been out orbiting?
I think so.
And then there was Luna 10 on there too, which was a Soviet one. And it actually went up and it was the first satellite to get into the moon's atmosphere. I thought that was rather cool.
That's cool. Georgian independence referendum, 1991. Nearly 99% of the voters support the country's independence from the Soviet Union.
Wow.
USS Missouri, the last active United States Navy battleship, is decommissioned in Long Beach, California.
What it doesn't tell you there, but I found on another site about the Missouri, is it was where the Japanese and the United States signed a peace treaty to end World War II.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's why that one's just pretty big.
Yep.
Iraq war in Anbar province. Iraq, four American private military contractors working for Blackwater USA are killed after being ambushed. Dang. Oh, okay. Who were born on March 31st? Henry II of France.
We don't talk about him very much.
Let's see. Actually, already a couple popes that I've seen.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess if you want a child...
Edward Fitzgerald? English poet.
What era is he? When is he born?
1809, and then he died in 1883.
So, not our F. Scott Fitzgerald, but he's U.S. anyway. I'm kind of the poster boy for the Lost Generation, really.
It's one of those things where you're like, am I going to be able to know any of these people?
I was kind of hoping there were some people that I'd recognize. There was like a couple folks that I'm like, I can't, like Atkins.
Oh, like for the Atkins diet?
No, not Atkins diet. He's an actor. And I think I've seen him in something. But he was on there, and I'm like, oh, That's interesting, right?
Lefty Frizzle, American singer and songwriter.
What era?
1828, and then died in 1928, died in 1975.
Lefty Frizzle.
Lefty Frizzle.
So wouldn't he have been singing during like kind of the golden age? Like
probably, because if he was 20 years after, it'd be the 40s and the 50s.
Yeah, that sounds right. He might have been going over for World War II stuff.
Your name is David Steele, and you're a Scottish politician.
Yes.
Nice.
That guy probably didn't have it, but you feel like he needs Liam Neeson. Oh, wait, no, he's Scottish. Is that right?
Yeah, he's Scottish.
Okay, so Liam Neeson is Irish, so that wouldn't be right. But you just expect a name like that should have a Liam Neeson type voice, right?
Yeah. Al Gore.
Now,
1948. Interesting.
but why is it important that he becomes vice president?
No. They're giving you what they're known for doing. So he was the 45th vice president of the United States. That's what he's known for.
Well, okay.
Your name is Tony Cox. He's an American actor. 1958.
1958. Okay.
Nick Firestone, American race car driver. Dude,
Yes.
with a name like that, you
Yes.
need to be a race car driver.
Yes, you do. I bet he changed it to be that way.
Firestone, is that like the tires?
That would make a lot of sense.
1966. Because there's Firestone tires.
I know. I didn't think about that until you said something.
I mean, I could see where he would change his name and then make a brand off of that name,
absolutely.
but that's hilarious.
They're still around, right? Like,
Yes. In fact, I think, didn't Firestone also do material when we were working at North Shore?
yes. Was it the same folks though?
I think it was an offshoot of the same folks.
Oh, that is interesting.
Dean Clark. I feel like it says English footballer. Oh no, English footballer. I thought it was American football, but I was like, for whatever reason, that name sounded familiar. But
There was someone, I think, who was in American football in that list too.
probably.
Yeah.
Eddie Johnson, American soccer player.
Well, okay.
And then James Jones, American football player.
James Jones!
That's hilarious. And then they have the list of people who died.
Oh, no.
Sir Isaac Newton, English mathematician and physicist. He died in 1727.
And not from an apple.
No. At least shouldn't have been, right?
I'd like to think he died of old
He
age.
choked on an apple. Poor guy.
That's not right.
J.P. Morgan, American financier,
Wow.
1913.
Okay.
Just before World War One.
That's actually really interesting. I feel like that guy was kind of crooked.
He might have been. I don't know. Anne Frank.
Really?
Anne Frank. She died in 1945 on March 31st.
Yeah, that was shortly
That's
before.
interesting. I feel like there's more people known.
For
Jesse
dying.
Owens?
Did he really?
1980. Yeah, there's like literally more people that we know of who died on March 31st than who were born on March 31st.
I'm kind of sad, actually.
That is a little bit sad.
I hope Jesse Owens died peacefully. I mean, it seemed like that guy was one of those cool guys who made history, right?
Brandon Lee, American actor, 1983. When does that
sound familiar?
Yeah, probably just because of the name Bruce Lee, but
no. But what's sorry, when
1993.
Shoot.
Dude, there was somebody's last name who was seriously Took.
Took?
Barry Took, British comedian.
Awesome.
Died in 2002.
That was on purpose, dude.
Yeah.
You're not a comedian and calling yourself Took because, that just sounds good, right?
Billy Knightley, Mr. Wildcat, American basketball equipment manager.
Is it the Knightley part?
No, it was the fact that he was an American basketball equipment manager and that he died.
Yeah.
All right, so there's some fun facts about
Today,
March 31st. All right.
I think it's funny that I'm working on my least strongest point of drawing today with architecture. But I really want to put this out and make it good. So here we are, working on architecture. Boom.
Yes.
Also, I just realized I got to finish the books on this one. So
Did you bookmark that article?
Which one?
From, what's it called? Why can't I think of it?
I don't know.
Epoch.
Oh, no. Are you saying the newspaper clipping one?
Yes.
No, it's in the
It's in the office?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it just somewhere obvious?
It should just be like right inside the door. You know the IKEA thing?
Yeah.
It's in that stack there.
Okay.
Like right up towards the door.
Okay.
So,
Entertain the non-existent audience.
the future audience.
The future audience.
Yeah.
Non-existent
Alright.
current.
That time you want to be witty and it's just not going to work out. All right. I'm also realizing that I'm really bad at keeping shelves consistent here. So I'm hoping that I can go back and edit that a little bit. We're also going to have to do some erasing here to make it more consistent. And we'll see how we do. All right.
Yeah, not anywhere you said it was.
But you found it anyway?
But I found it anyway.
Good.
All right.
That's probably going to be a little thicker than I want it to be. Oh, no.
Okay, we're going to do one from each category.
Okay, this ought to be interesting.
Okay.
So this is from an article from the Epoch Times. This came in their paper edition.
And it's 50 questions to spark deep conversation.
So this
I
ought
don't
to
know
be
what
rich.
just happened there. We lost connection for a second or something.
I don't know. It's kind of buggy anyway.
I don't know.
So I guess in the chat stream we could ask some questions about stuff, huh?
Well, we can type the questions in the chat stream.
Okay.
We'll see if anybody wants to answer them. But
I like it.
so we're going to start with know thyself and others. How much do you know about your ancestors? Do you have any stories about them?
How far back are we talking?
I mean, technically, I would say ancestors is probably like a couple, 2 or 3 greats.
Okay.
That's what I would think. But we do know that we had...
There's a lot of farming in our family background.
Yeah,
right?
but we know that we had some German descendants or German ancestors that came over and were like, you're not going to speak any German. We're going to learn English and we're going to like...
Well, that was because it was World War One and the
Yeah.
Germans had a bad taste in everyone's mouth.
Yes.
So
But then we do know, too, that our great-grandpa... Our great-great-grandpa... He got land in Medicine Lake, Montana from Woodrow Wilson.
Yeah, that was the land deal, right?
Yeah. And let's see here. There was a story about he and his wife coming out. And initially he was going to come out by himself. But his father-in-law sent the wife and the baby with him. And we're like, no, you're not going by yourself. But then they had to stay. Was it at the train station?
Yeah, I think they had to.
They had to stay at the train station.
Wasn't the weather really bad too?
It might have been.
And didn't they have to go uphill both ways?
Probably. But so they stayed, I think, at the train station, and then he went and got the land like all situated and everything like that until they could come and live there. So that's pretty fascinating. And then apparently that land stayed in our family for 2 generations.
I'm not entirely sure. We don't still
own the farm portion of one section of the land.
Oh,
I don't think. But we own the land in a couple other sections. I think.
Yeah.
But
I don't think we have. I don't think we have any farmers really in our family anymore either, which is kind of sad.
That is kind of sad. Well, because both our dad's side and our mom's side were farmers.
Yeah. I know our grandpa on my dad's side. So I don't know for sure, but apparently the name Howard is related to craft, right? Or kind of, I don't know. It's like builder, craft, things like that.
Yeah, it's like masonry, carpentry. It's like, what is that called? Like handwork.
Yeah, a lot of handwork. And
something to that extent. And
so our grandpa loved to build things out of wood, like grandfather clocks and odds and ends. And like whenever he needed a little extra play money, he would like make lawn decorations. Like he did Tin Man models with a little heart on his chest, right? I think he sold like 10 or 20 of those.
He might have. I'm not sure. And I know he did sheds for a while.
Yeah, Dad was helping him with that.
Yeah.
Right? And then they ran a roller skating rink.
And then he built a couple grandfather clocks.
Yeah.
Did you say that already?
No. I said he did build grandfather clocks. I don't remember how many he did.
I know he built 3 at least.
Okay.
Because there was the one that they had in their house.
Yeah.
There was the one that our uncle has. And then there was another one that he built for someone else. And I think that one was the one where he was like, this is the last straw.
Yeah. They're a lot of work, apparently.
Yes.
Which kind of makes sense. They're pretty ornate.
Yes.
But kind of awesome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And our dad is sort of like that, too, in the fiber optics side of things, which is what we're using in a lot of modern internet connection and stuff like that. Okay, SpaceX is different, right? But when you're talking the land stuff now, they're replacing a lot of the old wiring, which was copper, with glass wiring now because it helps light to travel way faster. And doesn't it like handle the heat better or something like that from all the intensity of light that you need to put through to make things fast?
Which one is this?
Fiber optic.
Oh, I'm not 100% sure. It is glass. I don't think the laser is hot.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just laser light. But I don't think it's hot.
Okay.
I don't know. I could be mistaken.
It's pretty cool, though. I don't understand a lot of it, but... So that's our dad. Our mom's side, her dad kind of had the tinkery thing with being a mechanic.
Yeah. Well, he was a mechanic in the Navy.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because he had there was something there was a condition where he couldn't fly.
But he's colorblind.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Duh.
Yeah, so so he was a mechanic in the Navy for a little bit, and then...
I always thought that would be a cooler job anyway.
Being a mechanic? Yeah.
I mean, that's not fair, because pilots get to do a lot of intense stuff, right?
That is true.
But I always thought being a mechanic would be really cool, too.
The biggest thing, I think, was that Grandpa wanted to fly.
Yeah.
But he couldn't. So it was like his secondary choice. But the nice thing about going into the military when it's not a war time is that you can choose what you want to do.
That is true.
And then once you're in, they're not gonna like
change you around. You're getting trained in your spot.
Yeah.
Our cousin went into the military for a time too.
He was in the Navy.
Yeah.
He wasn't on the USS Lincoln though, right? We just went on to the Lincoln because they were decommissioning it.
I think he was on the Lincoln for a time. I don't think he was on it when we went to the Lincoln.
Oh, really? He was on it for a time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I thought he ended up being able to go to Japan and stuff because of it.
Okay. Oh my gosh, Andy Bowers.
Oh my word.
How are you? I'm still going to type it. I just asked it, but...
He's going to be making fun of our family history now, and that is totally okay.
Oh, really? You were on Abraham Lincoln? That's cool. Wait.
What?
Was it like the tour? Did you take the tour that they had over at the...
I think he was... No, he actually was in the... I think he was actually in the Navy for a time, so he might have served on the Lincoln.
I think, well, yeah, but I wasn't sure if he also... So did you... I guess that's the question. Did you serve on on it, or... Oh, 98 to 01. Okay. So this would have been probably service then. That's cool. That's a lot of fun.
He probably knew that ship, or knew that carrier way better than the little bits we got to see. So.
Yeah. No, because we took, like, the little tour.
Yeah, he said I served on the Lincoln.
That's awesome. That is really cool. You can ask him vocally.
Andy, what stories do you have from? Like, what's a good story you have from the Lincoln?
Go Navy. Yep. Nice. No, it was funny. While Andy tries to think of a good story or type it up, it was funny being there for the souvenirs and then getting the hats, and Grandpa going up and wanting one of them, and it had all the, like, gold, like, I don't know.
Scrambled eggs.
The scrambled eggs was what he called it.
We had to dodge a typhoon.
Oh, dang! That would be...
From a submarine?
No, that's a typhoon is...
Oh, no, that's weather, isn't it?
That's weather.
What am I thinking?
Yeah, a torpedo. You're thinking torpedo.
Okay.
But a typhoon, dang. How did that go?
Where was that? Or can you say?
Dang.
That's intense.
Because, okay, what... I know a typhoon is weather, but is typhoon like a tornado on the water?
I thought it came from a submarine.
Or is that a hurricane?
A second ago. Okay,
That's
then
funny.
we were in the Persian Gulf when the USS Cole was hit too.
Ooh. Dang.
Did you guys have to save folks? Like, were there guys from the Cole that had to come over? Oh, it's like a hurricane.
Okay, it is like a hurricane. Okay. That's crazy.
So for a carrier, how heavy a typhoon are we talking? Like, does it do levels like hurricanes where it could be like level 5 or plus?
I was working for the Admiral during that time.
Oh,
wow.
Dang. That's awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
Okay, that's a good story.
That's some good bragging rights there.
That is.
Dang, that is super cool. So, wow. Okay. How would a carrier do against a typhoon? I can't imagine it doing great, though, just because...
It could, but it could cause quite a bit of damage. Okay. Dang. Yeah.
Dang. That
anytime,
had to have been crazy, though.
Anytime I think about things, it's always like, oh, you're... Like, there's a lot of life that you presume you're going to be fine, and then, like, tornado, hurricane, right?
Yeah.
Or, like, winds at a certain speed mess with things, right? Not worth it. I believe it.
Yeah. Better to dodge than try and... Yeah. Dang. Okay, so then, was the USS Cole hit by the same typhoon, or was it hit by an enemy? I'm supposing the typhoon, but... Because that's what's being said, but I just wanted to clarify. That's crazy. Dang, that would be so insane, though.
That would be insane.
Man, just like this, because most people don't want to see hit by terrorists.
Whoa.
Ooh, dang. Okay, so you guys dodged the typhoon, and then you had to go. So wait, we were in. Okay, so you were in the Persian Gulf when the Cole got hit. So I'm supposing, is Yemen in the Persian Gulf?
Yes.
Okay.
So
sorry, I don't exactly know.
I'm gonna pull up a map.
Okay. Because I don't exactly know where Yemen is. I've heard of it before, but I haven't seen it.
I think I know where it is, but like I said, I thought
I thought typhoon was a torpedo. Dang.
So here's Yemen. So let's see.
You might have to go a little bit higher up on the...
Okay.
And it's got a little bit of a delay.
No, stop. Okay.
Oh, Yemen.
Okay. So
Arabian
Yemen
Peninsula.
Is here.
Southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula.
So yeah, Saudi Arabia is north of it, and there's Yemen.
Yemen. Okay. But the Persian Gulf.
Oh, so there's Dubai. I've heard about Dubai. So there's the Arabian Sea.
Southern tip of the... Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Mediterranean Sea. The Red Sea. Okay.
Dang, that would be...
Oh, dang. Okay.
That would be pretty...
Yeah, it would.
Pretty crazy.
I'm getting
awesome.
a better idea. Did they change how to spell Turkey?
What?
Is it still pronounced Turkey?
What?
Is it like they got it pronounced here T-U with the 2 dots, R-K-I-Y-E?
I thought it was always just Turkey.
I did too.
Huh.
Oh, there's the Persian Gulf. Okay.
And it's close to Yemen, I'm supposing.
Let's see.
Or is it like a little ways
It's
away?
closer to Dubai. Or at least here it is.
Okay.
Maybe they renamed some things. They do.
Yeah. I mean, we renamed the Gulf of America. Okay. Our ship was the flagship in charge of all the other ships. Oh, okay. Well, that's cool. That's pretty sweet. Lead the way.
Yep.
Dang. Yeah, that would be important to dodge that typhoon then. You don't want the flagship to be...
No.
Ah! Yeah. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty awesome.
Man.
That's cool. All right. Do we want to go to the next question?
Oh, what was the next question?
I can read it.
Okay.
Willa Cather wrote in her novel O Pioneers that the only way to really help someone is
Hold on.
Oh.
80,000 or
No,
80 plus
plus.
planes and 6,000 people. That's like, there's some countries that don't have that many people.
That is true.
Or no, in some states. No, that's not true. Because even Montana has like 2 million people. So.
Oh, it's like 1 point something now. Yeah. But still, that is a good...
Man.
That's a sizable 80 plus planes. Dang. Wow.
That is cool.
That's a great... That's cool. That's a great story, though, having to dodge a typhoon.
It's good to see you all. I have to go now. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Andy.
And thank you for putting up with our ignorance.
Yes. And thanks for popping in and seeing us.
Yes.
Have a great rest of your day. All right. Willa Cather wrote in her novel, O Pioneers, that the only way to really help anyone is to understand them. Do you think that's true? What does it mean to truly understand someone?
Okay, read how you're supposed to understand someone.
What do you mean?
Sorry, I missed the first part.
Okay. The only way to really help someone is to understand them. Do you think that's true? What does it mean to truly understand someone?
Now, see, there's the problem because on the one hand, I think there's people who want to be understood, to be sympathized with, but they're still doing something bad, right? And then there's people who who do need understanding to truly be helped, right?
Yeah. Well...
Because someone may just want drugs from you, right?
Yeah, but
and that can be in a couple different ways.
But that's
right?
not. It's not helping them to just give them what they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to know what they're doing.
Okay, I better keep trying.
In order to help them, and right. So I think there is a level where you do have to understand them in order to help them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, even if someone is having mental issues, you have to some degree, have them talk about what's going on in their life.
Yeah.
Or if someone's crying, you have to have them kind of talk things out, even if they're crying more from it because of how painful it is. There is a degree where
understanding helps.
Yeah. Well, and it's very hard to sympathize with someone if you don't know.
So, okay. I was listening to Renewing Your Mind today, and R.C. Sproul was relaying a story where he was visiting a woman. who had cancer. She'd been fighting cancer for 10 years.
Yeah.
And she just felt so overwhelmed by it. She wasn't sure she could keep going on. And he said, I didn't know at all what to say. So I didn't really say anything.
Yeah.
Right? He said, I just was quiet. I listened, right? For 45 minutes to an hour. And then I left, right? And I don't think he could understand completely what she was going through. But I think he could listen. And that, in a way, it didn't fix her cancer. She still unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
It didn't, necessarily change her physical condition, but it sounded like she just appreciated having someone sit and listen to her that she respected.
Yeah.
Right? So, I don't know. Right?
But I think in the fact that he couldn't figure out what to say, I think that was that understanding. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where, okay, especially for someone like RC who's a Christian, I think the Holy Spirit held him back.
I do
right?
too.
So I feel like there's an element where we're held back from saying certain things because it's necessary, or we're compelled to say something that we wouldn't have otherwise said because it's necessary.
I think there's some truth to that.
So I think RC was understanding her. He just thought, I mean, there's always this reaction to us as humans that we want to say something to somebody's pain, right? To try and help them. But there's sometimes people don't want you to say, I get it.
Yeah.
Right? I know how you feel, right? Or whatever, because there is to some degree where that doesn't feel true. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and I think this kind of goes back. So, in St. Charles, I did a talk at the homeschool conference on biblical reflections and stories. And there's a part that I was talking about why fantasy stories particularly are beneficial. And I bring up, there's a book called Books That Build Character. And I bring up a section that they have in the book about necessary distance. And the interesting thing about necessary distance is that it makes it so that someone else's experiences are relatable.
Yeah.
Right? So, Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, we don't live in a galaxy far, far away.
No.
Right? We don't drive X-Wings. We don't have R2 units. We don't use lightsabers or blasters.
I think we know a few people who would love to do those kinds of things.
Right, yeah. But we don't do any of that. So all of the things that Luke does in that film, we can't completely relate to, but we can. Yeah. Because we have to put on his shoes. So I think that's the same thing with this moment with R.C. Sproul, is he can't picture it 100%, and because there's that 100% that we can't picture, sometimes it's better not to say anything. Yeah. But other times, people want outside input.
Yeah. So in a way, sometimes the lack of understanding can be helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, I think, very beneficial, though, even from necessary distance, and even from like this aspect where talking to someone, sharing experiences, it is necessary to try to put on the other person's shoes.
Yeah, I would say so.
Where it's like, you know, this gal doesn't understand why all of a sudden she has cancer, and hopefully she wasn't mad, but maybe she was very depressed or very sad and was trying to work through that.
I think she was depressed, but I think having time with someone she respected helped a lot. Right? Yeah.
So those types of emotions and feelings, I think, are kind of like that, having to have someone cry and talk about it, even though it might be more painful. But getting it out helps them to air it.
Yeah.
And helps someone else be like, okay, maybe I've never experienced this myself, but I kind of can understand to a certain degree.
I think there's a point to caring, right? That you have to admit you don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
It's very true.
You got to be willing to learn from that person what they need. So I think maybe it's more the journey to understanding them that allows you to help someone than it is even understanding them completely. Because can you truly understand someone completely?
I don't think you can, but I think that's kind of the point of the question is what does it mean to truly understand someone? It's like, I don't know if you truly can, but I think to help them, you have to start understanding them.
Yep.
At least. So I think that's interesting. And I feel like that I do feel like it's true. I feel like it is good to understand someone before you try and help them.
Yeah.
Even if it's, in asking. So I think even to a small degree where it's like, okay, you're helping someone with a program.
Yeah.
And okay, well, what program are you using first?
Yeah.
And then secondly, if you know that program, how well do they know it? Like, well,
what if you don't know the program, but you're the only one who can do something about it, right?
Yeah. Well, in that case, I feel like it's a little bit of a different notion.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, you know it and you're trying to help them. You have to know how much they know, right? Do you know the basic functions? So it's still a matter of understanding them to some degree, right?
Sorry, this is off topic, but there's something about trying to do the varying sizes of books in here that so I used to play with this math game we would get from the Everett Library that was these keys that would fit into the right answer would go with the numbers. And there's something about this that reminds me of those keys because it would have to click into place, right? Where you'd have I don't know, using keys, right? It's way bigger, slimmer, thicker thing.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes slanted.
I mean,
shapes,
it is that
right?
is the way even keys how they work.
Yeah.
Right. The different sizes and depths of things hit different.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call them, but basically different slots that move up and down, and the height of the slot is important for lining everything up so that it can turn.
Yep. So I gotta go and use the restroom real quick.
Okay.
And then I want to hear the next question.
Okay.
Because how many? There's 4 segments here.
I think there's 4 total segments. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's 4 total segments. Our next segment is the big questions.
The big questions. Uh-oh.
Yes. Yes. The big questions.
I feel like depending on your worldview, that's already going to be interesting.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, our weather in the area has mostly been rainy, kind of rainy and sunny back and forth. I didn't know this because we moved from Washington State to Indiana back in August. But apparently, especially in the spring, the weather in Indiana can be different every 5 to 10 minutes. So we've had rain, we've had cloudy, and then yesterday we had some sun. We might get sun this evening. It actually might even be sunny right now. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, so our weather has been crazy for me as a Washingtonian. But I like the area. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of things in very close proximity to each other, driving distance wise. So living out in Washington, just to get from the Seattle area to the Spokane area, which is from one side of the state to the other, took 4 to 5 hours. And here you can go from Indianapolis area to St. Charles, Missouri in 4 hours. So you can cross 3 states in 4 hours. It's amazing. You can also go up to Michigan. We've driven down to Tennessee, and that one was for Chattanooga Comic-Con and for Connooga. So The driving is great. The scenery is not as good as it is out on the west coast, but it's way flatter. So I don't know. It just feels like more direct. But yeah, so that's kind of some interesting facts about the area. It's a lot of fun and really interesting being in a new place, a place that I never would have thought that I would have lived in, but it's fun. All right.
It's very low key compared to Washington, though.
Yeah, it is very low key compared to Washington. Well, and the drive time to a place is the same.
Oh yeah,
almost all the time.
Like it
all the time.
It is, yeah.
There's like not the same amount of traffic. So, okay. So the big questions. Let's start with one closer to the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Just because what I was trying to do was kind of pick a random one at first on the top one and then go. So, anyways, what is the purpose of education?
Oh, that's a big question. I guess I always presumed the purpose of education. Okay, so when I was younger, I always presumed the purpose of education was that you were going to make the next generation better than the current generation, right?
Okay, potentially, yeah. I don't exactly know how you would entirely do that, because how do you ensure that they're better if you don't know what is better?
That's true.
Like, if you're trying to be the best you can possibly be, how do you know what is better than you?
Hmm.
I suppose there's definitely markers.
Yeah. I
don't know. But I feel like at some point you're going to not have, like, the ultimate human. You know what I'm saying? You can only go so far. Yeah. It is funny to me because I heard that question, and for whatever reason, my first thought was it's to mold and shape the next generation. And then I immediately thought of the Woodhouse TV series with Hugh Fraser and Stephen Fry, and the part where in the first episode, Wooster is getting married to Madeline Bassett, and his aunt tells him, she's good for you, she'll mold you, and he's like, I'm not a jelly.
No, it wasn't Madeline. It was because Madeline Bassett was the one who's like a vegetarian but has to eat meat because of dietary reasons.
Oh, really?
Woodhouse.
She's a vegetarian but has to eat meat
for dietary reasons.
What?
Yes.
I don't understand.
She's the one who thinks that she thinks the stars are God's daisy chain and things like that. Gosh. She's very poetic and artsy. And,
that's hilarious.
No, who is she though? Oh, who is that one? He's.
I thought it was Madeline.
I thought it was an M too, but
it's not Millicent.
No.
Anyways, but yeah, I just thought of the part where he's like, I'm not a jelly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I feel like the problem that exists is education sounds too stuffy. But
it's because
it's become this I don't exactly know how to describe it. Education itself, I don't think is bad, but I think the perception we have of it is too stuffy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, yes and no. Here's my thing, right? I grew up homeschooled, so my perception of, and you did too, but it's my perception of education is you live, right? You live and then you learn skills.
Yeah.
Right? And you do have some formal education there because it's important to kind of build that moral imagination and then build the foundations of logic and math so that you're going to be a successful human being when you come across new problems as an adult, right?
Yeah.
But then when you're a child, right? Or when you're talking formal education, right? It does kind of feel stuffy, but I feel like that was because they wanted children to put an importance on it, right? So
yes and no. I see what you're saying. At the same time, I feel like there's a level where it's become treat us like we're the all-knowers. And not everywhere, right? But I'm saying you particularly see it in universities sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And public schools and different things like that.
Yeah.
And not everybody. Again, I'm not trying to be universal. I'm just saying I think
there was an attitude that happened. Right?
Yeah, it's kind of like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and so it might not even be very many, but those are the ones you hear about the most. And so that's kind of what the mentality of what education is has kind of evolved into.
Wow.
And I think that's why you get a lot of public school kids that really don't care.
Yeah. I think there's some truth to that.
Because it's like, this person's like, you should trust me because I'm saying so and because I know what I'm doing. And this other person's like, yeah, but how do you know?
Yeah.
Right? And then they can't explain how they know. They just say, this is how it's always been. And it's like, well, yeah, but why has it always been that way? So, I don't know. I don't think it has to be.
No.
I think education can be a really great thing. And I think there's a lot of people that do a really good job at it. But...
So, okay, let's talk about that. What makes good education? What are the marks you think of good education versus bad education from our very, our
own
very
level
ignorant.
of being really intelligent.
Or not.
Yeah. I don't think it's a matter of like the subject or whatever being fun, but I think it being applicable.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that.
Where if the student understands how it's used or why it's used or where it's used, I think gives it more reason, especially if it's more immediate to their lives.
Yeah.
So, let's even just go to the basics with working on comic books. Like, you and I use math to figure out halves, thirds,
Oh, that's true.
quarters, right? You'll use math with perspective. Now, it's more like Euclid's geometry kind of math. But you'll still use math to make up some of these panels.
Also,
I'll use math.
I cannot tell you how much I curse out Euclid's working on this stuff sometimes. Like, Euclid!
Well, he didn't make it.
No, it's true.
He just found it.
Well, to be honest, if I didn't know it, or if I didn't know some of it, I'm sure he got way more in depth with it.
Yeah.
Right? Because math was a lot of there was an era of the Greeks where they were looking at math as being the way to find the answers to the universe. Mm-hmm. So I think Euclid was thinking that too.
Yeah.
When he was coming up with a lot of the shape theory, right?
Yeah. Well, and they were coming out of the phase with the Pythagorean theorem where they wanted to get away from numbers, right? Anyways, but you use math all the time with art, but you wouldn't want to do it if it wasn't applicable.
That's true.
Right?
That is very true.
Like, even with baking, you wouldn't use the art to figure out, how many teaspoons are in a tablespoon, and unless you were baking. Like, in the situation, you use the math.
That's true.
So, I think there's a lot of subjects that are the same way. Unless history is applicable to you, you don't necessarily care about history, right? And I think that is one of the important things about voting, is that it makes the history of your country more important.
True, but I think also, I'm not really sure if that's true, but I do think it makes you a part of that history.
But I think that's what makes history important. Is understanding that you are a part of it.
Yeah.
Right? And voting is one of the easiest ways as an American citizen to be a part of history.
True.
You're not necessarily going to be named in history books, but you are going to be a part of history because I did that. Yeah. Or whatever, right?
I was wondering, so there was a video on X, and I'm not promoting this, but there was a video on X of this guy who rammed into a Tesla, right? Yeah. And you can see him. Like, you can see who this guy is. He's not wearing a mask. It's like, if the police have any trouble finding this guy who vandalized another person's property, they're not real sharp, right?
Yeah.
But what was interesting about it was I was watching it and like, does he know? Like, if he knows, I feel like the reason he's doing that is because he wants to be seen, right?
Yeah.
So,
or I don't know, because usually what it is I don't know if they know that Teslas have cameras on them.
Oh, that's fair. Maybe. Well, I didn't know if he knew. Right?
That's what I'm saying. So it's not a matter of necessarily wanting to be known.
Yeah.
It's, I want my way, and oops, I've been caught.
Yeah.
I think is more so what it is.
I could believe that. It's probably true for a lot of cases. So, and we probably just lost the one person watching this by bringing up that story.
I don't know. We weren't saying one way or the other, but it was. I mean, honestly, what it is though is smashing into anybody's car is wrong.
Yeah. That's true.
So, I don't care if it's Tesla or not. I'm not big on Teslas.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not big on the whole electric car thing.
Agreed.
But, like, that doesn't mean I would go smash somebody's Tesla.
I like better his satellite system for getting internet and stuff. Starlink.
I've never used it. It's like the area that we're in, it wouldn't be
No, you're right.
Very strong internet connection.
I know, but like the idea I think is really cool.
That
right? That it's like, oh, well, what's hindering you from having good signal? Well, it's all the terrestrial things like the, typhoons, like hurricanes, tornadoes, and stuff. I mean, like the fact that I don't know how well it worked in North Carolina. I hope it worked really good in North Carolina. But the fact that he was like able to get Starlink out to North Carolina so that people had a way to contact each other and stay in touch with the world.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool that we're at a phase where that can happen because of like putting a satellite on the outside of the atmosphere, right? Yeah. I don't want it to turn into a
Dyson sphere
situation. Don't do that.
No,
right?
The Dyson sphere thing is not good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's good.
That was from education.
Yes, exactly. The Dyson sphere was from education, yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because there's like the Dyson sphere, which completely encapsulates a planet or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the Dyson, I don't know if it's a Dyson, but you have like the disc version where it's basically just like a ring.
So it's like Saturn.
Yeah.
So was Saturn occupied at one time, and the thing that's breaking up now in the ring is actually like the remains of
I don't think Saturn would be a good planet to do that on, though.
True,
because the whole point is to have solar panels facing inward.
But like, imagine if that was going on. If it was like Saturn was once occupied and then it got completely It's in theory, it'd be really cool. I don't have any evidence for this, right? I mean, there's some people who believe that there's a part of the Bible that makes reference to people traveling beyond the stars because of God's sovereignty reaching out into space. But that idea that Saturn could have been once occupied, that completely wrecked it, but the remains of the ring was something like a Dyson sphere.
Yeah.
That's kind of an interesting idea.
But it's fascinating to me that there's this notion that, we wrecked Mars in the past, maybe at one point, or, we wrecked some of these other planets. But, like, the fact that we haven't wrecked Earth yet, it's kind of like, I don't think we've been there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we could have wrecked them and not wrecked Earth.
So apparently on Mars there's like semblances of what could be human structures on Mars.
Yeah.
I don't know the details. I just know I've heard there's like a box or something on Mars. Not like a small box, but like it's a big like square kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
My theory is it would not surprise me if humanity at one time had figured out how to space travel before this era. I mean, they're saying that in South America there's like these huge like so there's these huge like mural kind of things in the mountains, right? And they're proportionate, but you couldn't get that from the ground. You would have to like have an aerial view of it in order to make sure it was proportionate, right? So things like that, you're like, okay, there's clearly stuff that man figured out before now, and it wouldn't surprise me if we figured out space travel somehow, right?
Yeah.
And that we tried to habitate Mars and maybe it didn't work out, or only worked out for a time, or maybe it was stupid expensive like it is now, and so it wasn't financially like ideal to do it, right?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I mean, I would buy more that we've gone to Mars and tried to do some stuff and then had to come back.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy that we've like habitated Mars and that there's people living in space. Still, I wouldn't buy that, but I could be wrong.
I'd be pretty surprised if if we ever ran into someone like that, where it's like, oh yeah, no, this is like their history's from Earth, but then they've been living like over in what is that one where they're saying they're finding habitable planets now?
Oh yeah, in the habitable zone.
Yeah, I don't know. So
okay, so let's do the last question just for fun, and then we'll wrap up.
Okay,
I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do here. It's funny because there's a couple. I feel like we answered one of these, but Do you know any good ghost stories?
What do you mean by good?
Yeah, I know, right? Like, do you want it to be, like, creepy, or do you want it to be...
Like, are we looking for what probably could happen? Okay, so first of all, we gotta lay down the groundwork.
Yeah.
Right?
So you guys, it's 4:30. I need a soda.
Oh.
Okay.
Can you give us 5 more minutes?
I will give you 5. I'll even give you 10.
Thank you.
Okay.
And then we'll grab you that soda. That was not a ghost. That was our mom.
It was the ghost of our mom.
It was the ghost of desire.
A ghost of desire.
Anyway, okay, so my problem... Okay, here's the one. It is a story, but I really like it. So, I can't remember her name at the moment, but she was an American author who would write a lot of fun short stories.
Okay.
Her ghost story... what was it called? Afterwards is the name of the story. And the premise of the story was that this American couple buys a British castle. It's not a big one, it's a small one. And it has a ghost. But the way the ghost works is that it's not anything that happened in the castle's history that haunts you. It's your own past that haunts you. So what happened was her husband got all the money to buy this castle because he embezzled the money from his company.
Ooh.
And his partner was left basically holding the... how was that term?
Holding the bill, basically.
Holding the bill, basically. And so his partner commits suicide, or tries to. And he kind of starts to die, and the wife sees his specter, but then when she goes down to, like, open the door for him, he's gone because he was resuscitated.
Oh.
But then when he finally does die, he shows up for the husband, and then they both disappear.
Huh.
But the point was that it was his actions that were his ultimate undoing.
That seems really weird. So he got resuscitated, but then he did die from what?
Well, because he was still damaged really bad from the attempted suicide.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But in a way, it's weird. I love ghost stories that have a justice complex.
Yeah.
That gets resolved. But I don't actually believe ghosts work that way.
No.
Right?
No. It's funny because the first thing I think of, because, I don't know, because of hearing it so many times, when I hear of do you know any good ghost stories, I think of the part in Lost in Random, the video game, where you talk to the guy in Forberg. I think it's called Forberg.
Okay.
And he's, like, looking for ghost stories, right?
Oh, yeah, but it's like silly little ones.
Yeah,
or something like
well,
that, right?
the one you get is like kids who don't really know how to tell ghost stories.
Oh.
And then you get the one where the guy knows of a woman who died during the dice war, but she basically haunts the war grounds.
Oh.
And I forget exactly why, but she's it's more of like a sad ghost than an angry ghost.
Yeah.
And then, man, there's like a couple other ghost stories that you find, but none of them are like really like spooky, creepy, like, you know,
Yeah.
gnarly. But Lost in Random is just a fun game anyways. But
my problem is I just came off of the back of listening to a podcast that talks a lot about ghosts, but in the context of ghosts are actually demons deceiving humans.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that going all kinds of ways awry.
Yeah.
For the humans, right?
Yeah. Well, and then the other thing, one of my favorite other kind of semi-ish creepy games to play is Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yeah.
That one is a ghost story.
Yeah, that is a ghost story.
But it's fun.
But ghosts, it's funny because in Mario, ghosts are more like their own race.
Yeah.
So you're like, oh, so supposedly they were alive once, but you don't really feel like that works.
Well,
because all their identity is being like photoplasmics, right?
Yeah.
So,
but even like the different styles of ghosts that there are in Luigi's Mansion,
Yeah.
you're like they don't all look different from each other. So it's almost like they are, you know.
I
each
want to
race.
talk about this weird thing that's related to another game. So Kingdom Hearts and the Heartless.
Yeah.
Okay, this always got me. So there's different phases of Heartless,
Yeah.
right? And the whole idea is that someone's heart gets taken from them and they become a Heartless. My question always was, watching that game, was, wait, so if you're a Heartless, if you're a big Heartless, that's like one of these gnarly, oh, dang, I don't want to deal with this guy right
It's
now,
a boss
Heartless.
fight.
Like, Does that mean you were a really bad person before you got your heart taken away?
That's the only thing I can think of because they're like a bad guy for the game. So I don't know.
But I mean, because you like see, because apparently at one point, Sora gets his heart taken away and he becomes. Sorry, spoilers. Spoilers for Kingdom Hearts 1 if you haven't played it. I haven't, but I know a little bit of the story. But yeah, he gets his heart taken away. He becomes one of the like first level Heartless, right?
Okay.
And then.
He becomes one of those?
Yes.
Okay.
And then
don't get beat up.
And then the girl hugs him and like basically, gives him good vibes and then he becomes himself again kind of a thing. I think that's how it works.
I get my heart back.
Yeah.
I guess. Interesting. Is that in the first game?
Yes.
Oh, funny. Alrighty, well, I think we answered
just
all the
end
questions.
On that weird
yeah,
note,
I think
right?
we answered all the questions that we wanted to do today, and hopefully you got a chance to watch Kelsey do a little bit. And it was fun having Andy pop in and talk about
give us an education on the Persian Gulf.
Yes, and his journeys in going to Yemen and
typhoons and what a typhoon actually is. Yes, and working under the Admiralty. That was cool. So anyway.
Yeah. Well, hoping to be back 2 weeks from now. Try and post on X more
especially in
diligently
between cons.
for that.
Especially in between cons. So.
Yeah. And for anybody who's watching this who hasn't received a Paperboy yet, we'll be putting out a Paperboy early April, I think.
Cool.
So, anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for Andy and anyone else who stopped by. And we'll see you guys next time.